situation involving the referee's identity that has surfaced online. This Caitlin Clark and Alyssa Thomas situation is worse than the first one when she got a technical just for clapping. One thing about this internet, your boy John always say, it give it and it will damn sure take it away. And that's exactly what is occurring with the WNBA. See, the WNBA didn't know how to survive and succeed on the success of Caitlin Clark. Well, something that they're about to go through is a boycott like no other. Fans are demanding something be done with this Alyssa Thomas situation, for it's criminal or they're...
The WNBA finally got exactly what it prayed for. Millions of viewers, sold-out arenas, and $1 billion spotlight. But instead of protecting the golden goose that laid the egg, it looks like they're letting the rest of the farm tear her apart. For weeks, we've watched the tension bubble over, but the latest incident involving Caitlin Clark hasn't just upset the fans, it started a digital war. People aren't just complaining on Twitter anymore, they've gone on a hunt for the identities of the people responsible for the chaos on the court. And what they found suggests that what we're seeing might not be accidental, bad officiating, but something much more personal. The situation with Alyssa Thomas was the moment the dam finally broke. We've seen hard fouls before, but this was different. It looked less like basketball and more like something you'd see in a ring. When you see a generational talent being targeted in ways that bypass the rules of the game, you expect the officials to be the thin line between competition and a hit job. But in this case, the whistle stayed silent when it mattered most. The outrage was so loud that the internet did what it does best, it started digging. And the names that surfaced have sent the WNBA into a full-blown PR nightmare. The two names now being whispered, or rather, shouted, across every sports forum are Gina Cross and Angelica Suffren. To the casual viewer, these are just names on a roster of officials. But to the Caitlin Clark stans and the basketball investigators online, these names represent a pattern. It turns out, this isn't the first time these specific referees have been in a gym with Clark. Some fans have gone all the way back to her college days at Iowa, pulling up clips that show a very specific, very heated history. If the rumors are true, we aren't just looking at bad calls. We're looking at a grudge that has followed Clark from the NCAA all the way to the professional stage. But why would a professional official have it out for a rookie? That's where the story gets even darker. Some believe it's a gatekeeping mentality, a way to show the new girl that she hasn't earned the respect of the veteran whistles yet. But while they're busy teaching her a lesson, the league is losing its grip on the audience. It's one thing to let the players play physical. It's another thing entirely to watch a player get physically compromised while the refs look the other way. And the discrepancy in how the rules are applied is where the real frustration lies. Think about this for a second. Caitlin Clark was slapped with a technical foul for clapping. Not at a ref, not in someone's face, just a frustrated clap to herself. Yet, in the same week, we saw plays that looked like they belonged in a contact sport, and the refs barely blinked. It's this moving goalpost of what's allowed and what's not that has fans convinced the fix is in. They're asking how a player can be severely targeted on one end of the floor with no whistle, but the moment she shows an ounce of emotion, she's penalized. It makes you wonder if the league is more interested in policing her personality than protecting her person. The rumors are flying fast now. Some are calling these officials unpaid puppets, suggesting they're following an unspoken internal order to toughen Clark up. The logic? If she's baited by the refs, the veterans will revolt. But that strategy is backfiring in the most expensive way possible. The WNBA is a business, and right now, the customers are closing their wallets. We are seeing a mass exodus. Fans aren't just turning off the TV. They are actively canceling their league passes and posting the receipts online. They're realizing that their power isn't in their voices, but in their pockets. There's a movement growing called Lights.
Everyone that's saying Angel Reese and Paige Beckers, guys, look at the jersey sale. Look at every single thing that Caitlin Clark does. I could throw a million stats out there. The only person that sells more jerseys than Caitlin Clark is Steph Curry, who's lifting her up like LeBron James and all these guys. The girls on the court are trying to punch her. It's no sense. Make it make sense.
Exactly, bro. This is an ongoing issue, and she's not the only one that feels this way. Listen to
Came
this
back to the game, or found it for the first time, because of Caitlin Clark. She's out now. Out because of a game that should have protected her.
Out with Caitlin. The idea is simple but devastating. If she doesn't play, or if she's not protected when she does, the fans don't watch. They want to see empty seats and dark living rooms to show the league that the billion-dollar impact can disappear just as fast as it arrived. It's a game of chicken between a fan base that feels betrayed and a league that seems too proud to admit it has a referee problem. This isn't just about one game in Indiana anymore. It's about whether the WNBA wants to be a professional sports league or a high-stakes hate fest. And the impact of this goes way beyond the box score. Imagine being a young girl watching this. You've been told your whole life to shine bright and be the best. Then you see the girl who actually did it, the one who broke the records and filled the arenas, getting treated like a villain by the very people supposed to keep the game fair. It sends a chilling message. If you get too big, if you get too successful, we will let people obliterate you just to keep you in your place. The economic impact of Clark is measurable, but the cultural damage being done by these officiating decisions might be permanent. Even people in the media who usually stay neutral are starting to break their silence. They're pointing out that the only person selling more jerseys than Clark right now is Steph Curry. Think about that level of fame. When you have a once-in-a-lifetime asset, you don't let incompetent officiating put her on the sidelines in street clothes. You protect the product. But as of right now, the WNBA seems content to let the chaos continue, even if it means viewership takes a nosedive that they might never recover from. So, where does it go from here? The identities of the refs are out, the fans are organized, and the boycott is gaining steam. The league can either investigate the intentional bias that fans are screaming about, or they can watch their golden era vanish before it even truly begins. They say the weight of the crown is heavy, but Clark shouldn't have to carry the weight of the refs' mistakes too. The internet has unmasked the problem. Now we wait to see if the league has the courage to fix it. Is this just a case of growing pains for a league that wasn't ready for this much attention, or is there something more sinister happening behind the scenes to keep Clark from taking over? One thing is for sure, the fans are no longer just background noise. They are the ones paying the bills, and they've decided that if the league won't.
Issues with Caitlin Clark since she's been in college. Somebody else said too many people are still too afraid to call out the real reason this is poor happening because they don't want to be labeled an ist or a probe. Until people can get over their fear of words, this will continue. These are not mistakes. It is intentional bias against Caitlin Clark. It goes on to say, great stats here against Angelica WNBA. We would like to hear from you. How incompetent do you get to be before being let go?
Police itself. They'll be the ones to shut it down. What do you think? Are these refs just overwhelmed? Or is the intentional bias against Clark too obvious to ignore? And more importantly, are you joining the boycott? Or are you staying tuned to see how this drama ends? Drop your thoughts below, because this story is just getting started, and their receipts are still being printed. I'm going to keep tracking every whistle and every missed call, because the future of the W depends on what happens next. Until then, keep your eyes open and don't let them gaslight you into thinking this is just part of the game. I'm out. But if you want to understand why the officiating looks so unprofessional, you have to look at the hidden payroll that the WNBA tries to keep under wraps. We're talking about a billion-dollar hype machine being policed by people who, in some cases, were reportedly making as little as $400 a game just a season ago. When you realize that some of these officials are coming straight from the YMCA or high school circuits because the league won't pay for elite tier talent, the chaos starts to make a lot more sense. It's a classic case of getting exactly what you pay for. The league is selling a premium product with economy, quality control. This pay gap in the officiating world creates a dangerous environment where refs might feel more like fans with whistles, or enforcers of a narrative, rather than objective judges of the game. If a ref isn't being paid a professional salary, are they really going to risk their neck to protect a megastar from a hostile locker room culture? Probably not. Instead, they take the path of least resistance, which usually means letting the vets have their way with the rookie. It's a budget bin approach to officiating that is currently threatening the physical safety of the league's biggest investment. But there's a whisper campaign going on that's even more disturbing than the bad calls. Some fans and analysts are starting to point out a culture of fear within the league's administration.
These referees are NBA referees, but here's the thing: a lot of these referees come from YMCA's, high school. There is no like referee college or something. Now there is courses that they take to kind of work on making calls. They take little things at the end of the season, have meetings, and they go over every call from the entire season that garner review, that garnered, fan reaction. But in this situation, these ladies right here, oh my God, they gotta hate that they did this, because just like I say, the internet, give it and
they're claiming that people are terrified to call out the obvious targeting because of the labels that get thrown around the moment you defend Caitlin Clark. We've seen the comments online, people saying that if you point out the intentional bias, you're suddenly labeled with every ist and probe in the book. This social pressure has created a paralysis where nobody wants to be the one to say, hey, this girl is being assaulted on the court, until the people in charge can get over their fear of words. This physical targeting is going to continue. These aren't just human errors or missed whistles. At this point, it feels like an intentional choice to let the hostility run wild. When you have players punching someone in the neck and the refs are reviewing it like they're trying to find an excuse to look away, you aren't watching basketball anymore, you're watching a controlled takedown. The fans see through the gaslighting, and they're tired of being told that what they're seeing with their own eyes isn't actually happening.